So okay, so a teacher is a teacher. A teacher is not just a person who is teaching at a school,
Yeah.
right? Because you could be a kung fu teacher, you could be a cook teacher, you could be Hawk got a Jeep, he could teach people about Jeeps, right? A teacher is a teacher. So I kind of wanted to take a moment to show some appreciation to people who actually like come back and teach, right? Because whatever it is, if you're a teacher, you learn, and then you coming back and you giving it to someone else, right? And so I was thinking about a society that didn't have teachers, right? Because if you look at life, us, animals, whatever, like we, how do I say it? Civilization relies on information from our ancestors and from the past and stuff like that, right? And so like when I used to hear like teachers be talking about like, they teachers need more this and this and that, I didn't necessarily, like, I wouldn't say I didn't care, but it wasn't a problem that affected me. You know what I'm saying? But then like now that I'm older and my kids is in school and like they grades and everything, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, and me wanting to learn new things, I'm like, yo, like, can you imagine a society without teachers?
I mean, it's crazy. It's like I would want to say it'll be animalistic, but it's like animals are smart and everything that they do. So I don't even know what the society would look like, because
Right.
I feel like we'll just be like, oh, hunter gatherers, whatever, like this. But you got to learn how to hunt and
Just
gather.
relying on instinct, right?
Like you're just relying on instinct. It'll just be like everybody for themselves. I don't even know how it'd be.
That's crazy to think about, right?
It'd be a
What was
little
you
bit
gonna
of
say,
people.
Birdman?
I was gonna say it wouldn't be any society. It wouldn't be a civilization. Like
Yeah.
pretty much we'd be running around like chickens with our heads cut off.
Right.
Because like as much as you can say instincts, things are taught. Like at the end of the day, either you watching and learning. Like put it this way, how much is it instincts when you take a lion or these animals out of the wild and they live in captivity their whole life, and then they go into the wild and they can't survive?
Yeah.
Like something has to show it how to fucking go chase that impala or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Teach it how to prance. Like it's still instinct to a certain extent, but it's like something has to show it, you know?
Now you're gonna be a vegetarian.
Yeah, so, you're gonna die.
So I feel like this is a question I had asked before, and I'll ask it again. Like with what you guys are saying, is it better to be a person that like knows everything, or is it better to be a person who like is willing to learn and like is always kind of like curious about like more, I guess you could say. I don't know how to pose that question, but do y'all understand what I'm trying to say? Like, is it better for society for like people to just get to a point where they're like, all right, I got all the information that I need.
No, because it's impossible to have all the information you need.
Right.
For real. Yeah, think about the music industry. The best producers still have to work with people.
Right.
Because they don't know everything. Like you still got to bring in a fucking expert in this field to help you with these sounds and pulling from so many people. Like you've been doing this 30 years and you still need help. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So look. Go ahead.
Help is what probably got them there.
What'd you say?
So
help is probably what got them there.
Exactly. Like I don't think there's a field where you can know everything. Like nobody's.
So look, how like when you in high school and in college, you got all these prerequisites, right? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
You got all these prerequisites, and like back then when we was in college and high school, how frustrating it is when you got to take this, and you got to take that, you got to take this, and you got to take that just to take what you really want to take, right? Does that explain the school system and why it is the way it is? Like, is it important that like your society, everybody at least has this base set of information instead of people just educating themselves on their interest? You think that's why school is actually the way it is? Like, do you think they thought that far, or they was just kind of like, let's just throw a bunch of shit together?
I be feeling like it's just it is that, but it's also other things as well too. Like it is also testing. Like you're trying to weave through the best. You want the best, and it's also just teaching patience. It's like even though it's like we're trying to knock some people off their track, we are looking for the more patient and the more diligent type of students. I think like colleges or just school in general, sometimes they look for just certain type of students.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a lot different. It's more than just the type of students that they're looking for, though.
Yeah. I sometimes feel like a lot of it is, well, it's the obvious. Like, you want your nation to be strong at at everything. You don't want
to, and that's what that is as well too. That's I believe that as well too. That's why I don't think it's like such a like harmful kind of approach. I mean, it could be harmful, but you know, survival of the fittest. Like we want strong-minded people.
I think I know what you're saying. Like, not even harmful. It's just
to be qualified in this world.
Absolutely, and you gotta be able to see the best. It's funny that you said that too, because I was watching this documentary where it was like computer hackers, and they was talking about how they get like scouted by, like, you know, I could be wrong when I say I think it was the CIA or whatever. He was just saying, like, you know, they be at school at like Harvard and all that, and they just get approached with a government job. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn, you know, the fact that they got found, you know what I'm saying? And like they looked at him and was like, yo, you could be a good hacker, and we need hackers. Like, you know what I'm saying?
We need people to be able to stop hackers.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it's a little bit of both. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't always the nice guys and shit. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna attain no power being the nice guy. So it's like I was just tripping off of just the school system in general, how, like, you know what I'm saying, we in school from the time that we like 2 years old all the way until we decide we don't want to be in school anymore. We all attain a lot of information that we feel is not really useful, but it's like, damn, we might actually really be using it a lot more than we realize. You know what I'm saying?
So,
like,
I was gonna say, like, I think the reason they do it, you talk about university level when you got to do the prerequisites, right?
Yeah.
You got the first 2 years.
You still gotta like take like, you know, you got your this and that, you know.
So I was gonna say, for one, it's like you gotta have a strong foundation.
Yeah.
Right. That's what like in football, like when you start off, because football is my easy example. Yeah. They teach you to do the same thing. You learn how to block, learn how to tackle, and that shit leads up all the way up until you get to this certain level, and then you become like a specialist. Like, all right, my job is wide receiver. Yeah. But you gotta think, when you're a kid, you gotta pretty much do a little bit of everything on the football field. Yeah. Until you get to a certain level, it's like, I ain't playing defense. I'm a fucking wide receiver. I ain't tackling shit no more. But you still understand the basis. A lot of block and tackle, and you know. Yeah. But I think that's what the whole point of it is. But I feel like in America, we fail at the school system because there's so much more practical shit we could be learning that actually help with life, rather than a bunch of shit we never use.
Yeah.
Like
you know, it's crazy, bro.
So it's like it's useless information when you like we have specialists for certain things, and then you know, it's like, why is the carpenter learning how to do pipe fitting? Yeah. He's never gonna fucking do that in his field. Learn how to fucking cut some wood and measurements, and you know what I'm starting to realize though is like because
what I'm starting to realize is like through my son is in junior high, but like he's in a carpentry class. You know what I'm saying? And then like he's also in like a computer software class, and he's like creating websites and shit like that. My nephew is in a gaming programming class. And so what I realize is like it's also funding as well, because like there is certain places where like they got the funding for that kind of shit, and then you got certain places that don't have it. So it's like it go to show like the difference in just communities. I ain't really got that deep into the politics on the community level like that. I'm sure Cuzzo probably knows something, because I know him and my uncle, they talk about this kind of stuff. But it's just kind of like, it just go to show, like, I know that, like, even for instance, I know that there's a difference in like private funding and public funding. I know that because of like my job and shit. And just kind of like, you know, that could be a big difference, because private is all money raised pretty much, right? Am I right about that? Like private is pretty much the money that's put into it, and then like public is like money that come from taxpayers.
I don't know all the facts on that.
I think so.
Yeah. And so it's just kind of like you can have a school that is privately funding, or what they call them schools, or like charter schools and shit like that. You could have a school that's like got everything that they need and more, and they could have some of them programs that Hawk is talking about, like, you know, instead of carpenter doing pipe fitting, You know what I'm saying? They got the funding for that carpenter to just carpenter 101, carpenter 102, carpenter 103. You know what I'm saying?
Just specialized, shit.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of just finding classes for a kid to go in because he needed 7 period. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, nah, we're gonna actually put him in some shit that's conducive to like what it is he's trying to do. So
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I just really wanted to talk about it because yeah, man, teachers are dope. You know what I'm saying? And teachers are important. And not just teachers at schools, but like, people that are willing to like, take the time out to teach people things. You know what I'm saying? They're a lot more important than most of us kind of like talk about. I think, and so I don't know, like that was something that I had that was from a conversation I had about a month ago. And I've been wanting to talk about it, but last time we all got together, man, we had a dope conversation. Y'all can check that out. We was talking about, the Raiders and where they going. And I'll be the first to say, I had to put my foot in my mouth on that one. We'll get to that in a minute. But